Picture two apartments in the exact same neighborhood. The first belongs to someone earning $95,000. They have a huge television, a luxury leather sectional, closets stuffed with unworn clothes, and a knot in their stomach, exactly 2 missed paychecks away from crisis. The second apartment belongs to someone earning $52,000 a year. Their space has a modest couch, a normal television, and clear countertops. They check their bank account with complete calm, sitting on 18 months of saved expenses. We naturally assume a high salary guarantees financial security, but the person earning nearly 6 figures isn't gambling or funding expensive addictions. They simply accumulated a lifestyle that requires every single dollar they earn just to keep the lights on and the closets full. They fell victim to a trap that hides in plain sight, ignoring the second cost. The number you see on a receipt at the store is never the final price. It is just the entry fee to a lifelong subscription of ownership. This diagram breaks down exactly how that subscription works. First, you pay the implicit rent of storage space. A treadmill takes up about 20 square feet, which in most cities costs hundreds of dollars a year in floor space. Then you pay for upkeep. Items like boats or vehicles require roughly 10% of their value annually in insurance, winterization, and repairs, even if they never leave your driveway. Watch as these hidden costs multiply. Every item you own occupies a slice of your mental energy, with researchers finding a direct correlation between visual clutter and elevated cortisol. You also pay a massive opportunity cost. That $15,000 price tag for a home gym represents $50,000 of lost growth if those dollars had stayed in an index fund for 15 years. High earners trapped in the cycle usually try to curb their spending using willpower. But willpower is a finite resource that depletes over the course of a stressful workday, while the financial drag of a cluttered environment remains perfectly constant. When every new dollar of income is immediately allocated to a new storage requirement or maintenance fee, financial security remains out of reach. Breaking this cycle requires a protocol that neutralizes the second cost at the source. The first line of defense is filtering every potential purchase through cold, objective math long before the money ever leaves your checking account. This comparison illustrates the cost per use formula, which is the only accurate measure of an item's value. A $400 jacket worn 200 times cost exactly $2 per wear. Meanwhile, a $30 specialty kitchen gadget used exactly once costs $30 per use. In a strictly mathematical sense, the high-quality, expensive jacket is significantly cheaper. Running this calculation strips the emotion out of impulse buying. A heavy discount on a flash sale suddenly looks entirely unappealing when the math proves you're paying an exorbitant fee for an item you will rarely touch. We also have to account for the lifestyle multiplier effect. Buying a single anchor item, like a boat, triggers a chain reaction. That single purchase dictates that you must also buy a trailer, a vehicle with a towing hitch, off-season storage, safety equipment, and specialized tools. A $5,000 transaction secretly commits you to $12,000 of supporting ecosystem expenses. But the math is equally powerful in reverse. By eliminating the anchor possession, the entire web of secondary financial drains instantly collapses alongside it. Mastering these two formulas reshapes your baseline perception of consumer goods. You stop reacting to the initial cost to buy and start evaluating the ongoing cost to own. Relying on self-control means you are bringing a knife to a gunfight against billion-dollar retail algorithms. Human behavior always flows down the path of least resistance. The solution is friction engineering. You deliberately sabotage your ability to spend by deleting saved credit cards from your phone and forcing a strict 24-hour waiting period on any non-essential purchase. Conversely, you make saving entirely frictionless by setting investment transfers to trigger automatically the moment your paycheck clears. This requires a rigid definition of functional value. Replacing a perfectly functional item because a newer release has a slightly improved camera, or because you are simply bored with the design, guarantees long-term wealth destruction. Actual mechanical breakdown is the only legitimate trigger for replacement. When exploring a new interest, you apply the same structural barriers. Before buying heavy camping gear or woodworking tools, you rent or borrow the equipment. This stress tests your enthusiasm and prevents your garage from becoming a dusty museum of abandoned hobbies. You do not need to become a highly disciplined monk to escape the consumer cycle. You just need to design a physical and digital environment where making the financially optimal choice happens automatically. To clear out the backlog of objects currently draining your resources, walk through your home and apply the replacement test. If an item disappeared from your shelf today, would you actually go to the store and spend cash to buy it again? For most items, the honest answer is no. Most people try to fix years of accumulation with a massive, exhausting weekend purge. They feel great for a few weeks, but without new structural boundaries, they steadily refill the empty space over the next 2 years. A sustainable system relies on cyclical decluttering, paired with strict inventory tracking, like the ledger shown here. You establish hard numerical limits on specific categories, say 30 total items of clothing or 15 kitchen gadgets. Every new acquisition requires the removal of an existing one. Stripping away these possessions does not cause deprivation. Removing objects that fail the replacement test instantly recovers square footage, cuts cleaning time in half, and physically lowers your baseline anxiety. The ultimate trap for high-income professionals is the moving goalpost. As their salary increases, they raise their lifestyle expectations to match. The new luxury quickly becomes the baseline normal, requiring yet another promotion just to alleviate the resulting financial stress. You break this cycle by explicitly defining the limits of enough before your earning power increases. You determine exactly what level of housing, transportation, and material comfort provides genuine satisfaction, and you lock those targets in place. This chart maps the exact geometry of wealth creation. The moment your lifestyle hits that ceiling of enough, the gap between your income and your expenses blows wide open. Every subsequent raise or bonus flows entirely into savings and investments. This growing wedge of capital provides the physical ability to quit a toxic job, take 6 months for a family emergency, or launch a business without a safety net. This is wealth measured by the accumulation of optionality. Building this robust financial buffer cures the insecurity that triggers impulse spending in the first place. When your bank account is strong, the psychological need to project success through buying luxury goods dissolves entirely. The math is entirely clear, and it applies regardless of your current tax bracket. You must actively build deliberate systems to own your possessions. Otherwise, by default, your possessions will eventually own you.